Alright, I made this journal. I'm not exactly sure what kind of journal it is because it has a little bit of everything. And because I rarely make any two journals alike, it's really hard for me to do tutorials because a lot of people say, well, why don't you do a tutorial on the journal that you're making? And it's basically, I don't have a plan. I don't know where it's going. I start with something and I just throw it to the side and then I bring it back out and then something else inspires me. So I'll try to explain as I go along what I did because obviously I do not have a tutorial. So what I started off with was just paper, and I sewed uh, different layers of paper together, and that's the pages that are inside. The cover to this is just cardboard, and then I went ahead and used all my scraps that I have from different sewing projects. I have a, what did I do with that? I'm not sure what I did with it. I have a bag that's just full of scraps, and I just grabbed from that bag. Oh, here it is. I have a bag full of scraps, and I just pull from that. I even save the thread that I pull out from different fabrics that have a looser weave to it, and I save all that stuff and eventually use it somehow. So I sewed different strips on here on a piece of cloth, and then I glued that piece of cloth onto the cardboard. And just like I said, just stuff I have around. This, I make these, and I just picked one that I wanted to put there for no particular reason, and that's the front. When you go inside, see, it's a little wacky doodle. Here again, it's just some scraps that were left over. I had done this little mock dress form and wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, and I've just been sitting around for months and months, so I glued that in there. What I did with this is I got that paper that I had shown in another previous video that they had thrown out, and it's an old large paper that they would teach us penmanship in elementary school. And so I sewed, I think, about 7 layers together, just any old way. And then I cut, I think I forget how many, 5, 6, 7 pages, and cut holes in each one of them and made them progressively smaller, the holes. And initially that's all I had done, and it just sat there forever, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. And then I was going through some of my magazines, and I had all these different faces, so I started cutting out the faces, and then I decided to only use the eyes and the lower part of the face, and I cut them apart, and then I decided to put them on either end of the circle. So that's how that concept started. So I did that first. I just put the faces on there, and then I came back and did some stamping, and then I started looking through my bag of fabrics and just started filling in the gaps with things that I had. And so and that's what I came up with. So I'll give you a flip of these different pages. Now the back sides, I have left them empty. Not sure what's going to be done with those yet. Maybe, I'm not sure. I really don't know how I'm going to finish those off, and that could be months and months from now. I don't know. But here is the other face. And I had, junk jewelry laying around, so I just hot glued the jewelry, and then again the scraps of different trims and fabrics that I have around. And so each hole is getting progressively smaller. I had initially started a different type. My vision, if I had one, it was a little different from what I actually did. I was going for one of those tunnel books where you literally see through, but then when I started putting the fabric across, that kind of changed it. But anyway, it's all convoluted. And again, same thing. Each page is the same in the respect of what I did. It was the face cut in half and then just scraps filling in everywhere. And then, excuse me, this is the back page. And I don't know, over a year ago, I made this little thing. And so I just thought it's time to put it somewhere. So I glued that on there. And a while back, out of some scraps, I had made this. And then I got this in a swap. And then that's just another one of what would maybe eventually become a pendant, but I haven't even soldered that yet. And then the back side, again, just pieces of fabric filling in the gap. So it's a little chunky. It's different. I'm not quite sure what to say about this, but I just thought I would share it because it's different. And I know that we all have scraps of all different kinds of things. You know, we have pieces of jewelry or beads, trim, laces, magazines, paper. And so I think this is yet just another version of a trashy journal. Most people would have thrown away all these little pieces that I decided to put in the bag. So I'm just trying to show you different ways that you can interpret these trashy journals. And for you pack rats like me that keep all these little pieces, instead of them just sitting in a corner in a bag, hopefully you can bring them out and use them to make something unusual and in my case bright. So I hope you get some kind of ideas and some inspiration from this journal.